Hey guys, it's Joey, and today we have some big updates to talk about. I got off my vacation about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago now, and everything's been going pretty smooth so far. They're gonna start fighting. That's great. As you can see, the tank, the 120, is now moved over. I did that today with the neighbor. We moved over the tank. What we did is I drained it down to about, maybe about right here. I don't know how many gallons roughly that is in there. But then drained out about, I put about 90 gallons in. So maybe 30 gallons total was in there, maybe 20. These things don't really hold 120 gallons. But then we used a crowbar. This little guy. We used that. Then we went in under each corner and pried it up. And on this side, things got a little crazy because we did the other side first. And then we took off some of the molding. But I'm not really worried about that at all. That's easy fix. Then we lifted it up so we could put little sliders under it. And then we just slid it over. All in all, it was pretty easy. Just took some time. I ended up saving 40 gallons of water, and then I put in about another 50 gallons of fresh water. So this pretty much got a 50% water change today. So I'm interested to see how it does. As far as coming back from vacation, I thought I had everything tuned correctly, but it turns out there was a little bit of a alkalinity drop. I lost the both bird's nests that I had, and then I lost whatever that coral is. Lost that guy, and then I think this is a stylo, and it's now gone. And then I think that was pretty much it. This Christmas tree Monty, I think it's mostly dead, but it still shows polyps. It's not showing them right now, probably because this tank went through a lot. It went through a lot today. All these corals up top, they were all out of the water for a good 20-25 minutes at least. The anemone is looking good, even though that thing was hanging down like a thing of snot. But it only dropped about, it was 7.3 was the alkalinity before I left, and then it dropped to 6.4. So about a point, and that took 2 weeks for it to get there. So I just raised everything back up. I haven't measured since I put in the new water today, but it should be going up a little bit more towards 8. I think last night was 7.7 that it came in at. And yeah, one thing I think that's interesting, if you notice, I have the gel filter on here, and that's why we can see everything a lot more clearly. You'll notice on the overflow box here, it's a lot more purple. And then if you look in the background, it looks a lot more, reddish pink. And that happened after I did this whole process of draining the water down and then filling it back up. So I'm kind of interested to see how that recovers. And I'm wondering, is that the first stage of it dying? I'm not too sure. Overall, this tank is now moved into an out-of-the-way position, and I can position the final resting position of the new tank once it gets here, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. Another update on the 120 here is that I added another gyre 250. This is going to go obviously into the new tank, the 230, but since I had it, I was like, well, I might as well throw it on, you know what I mean? Not just going to let it sit around. The way I have it set up is this comes on for, I think, 6 or 8 seconds at 20%. This one comes on for 6 or 8 seconds, whatever it is. Let's just call it 6 seconds. They're both at 6. And then that will come on at the same time. This one will shut off, and then this one will stay on for 6 more seconds. So they're kind of offset timing like that. Since then, I've noticed, a lot more, downforce in the middle, and it's cleared away some of the sand here. And then I noticed my stylo, it's not as fluffy as normal. It's still good and still happy, but it's just not as fluffy. So just kind of something to think about. You know, if you're looking at, you know, what's too much flow, well, maybe that's too much flow for that coral, where its polyps aren't fully extended. And it's kind of, you know, something you gotta weigh. Do you want a whole bunch of growth? Because it seems like everyone thinks there's no limit on flow to growth ratio. Just seems like if you could pound it, then go ahead and do it. You know, or do you want your corals to, you know, look nice and fluffy and I don't know, full? I personally want them to look full, so I'd say this is a little bit too much flow for my liking. All right, so enough about the 120. That thing will be decommissioned soon enough. The 230 is now in its final resting position. You know, I'll be moving it around a little bit to do the 80-20 arm. That is coming on Wednesday, and it's great timing because the tank will be delivered on Wednesday as well. So I'll be able on Wednesday to have the tank back up here. It's fixed, and it took them about 3 weeks. I went to the store and I was able to actually test it this time before they bring it here. So we know it works. The overflow box fits. It's perfect. Once that tank comes, then I'll be able to just pull this out a little bit, and then put on the 80-20 arm, and then I'll mount the lights up as well. And then we'll get a good feel for how this is going to look. My plan for once I get it is the plumbing will probably be a little bit delayed. But what I'm going to do is I'll take some water, I'll fill up some water, and then start filling up the tank to kind of test it a little bit. It will be kind of a slow process, but what I'm going to do as well is I'll put in some pond matrix, and I'm going to start cycling the pond matrix already. So there will just be, if you could picture here, just water in the tank, not overflowing as it would to go down into the sump. It's just going to be in the tank, and then I'll put a little power head in there so it has some circulation, maybe an air stone for some oxygen, and then that'll be it. And now I'll start cycling that. For cycling, I also have a couple different things here. I plan on mixing a whole bunch of different bacterias. We have the Fritz Zyme 9. This only treats 80 gallons actually. It's a huge bottle to only treat 80 gallons. Microbacter 7. I think this treats a lot, maybe, I don't know, 250, 500 gallons. And then I also have some ProtoBio Biodigest that I dose to the 120 on a 2-week basis. And lastly, I have the Fritz, those stuff you have to put in the refrigerator. It's a small bottle, only like this big, and it treats 100 gallons. So I'm going to be using all those. Maybe not all at the same time. Maybe I'll start with, I don't know, maybe I'll start with the Microbacter, and then after a couple days I'll put in the Fritz, and then maybe after another week I'll put in the other Fritz. You know, we don't need to go hardcore everything at one time. We still have to cure the rock. So yesterday as well, I traded in my old dry rock that I had, and now I have this Fiji rock. It came pretty filthy, and it wasn't as nice as the first batch the store had. The first batch was about $6 a pound, and it was pretty nice. A lot of nice shelf-looking pieces. And this one, it came a lot dirtier, and it's not as nice looking, but it satisfies me. And it was about $4 a pound. So I'm just taking a power washer to it right now. I've already done all these. Still need to do the rest of that. It's just kind of a pain. And I've been power washing my driveway as well. As you can see, this side I power washed, and this side is not. So it's kind of addicting once you actually start going and power washing stuff. Let's see, what else do we have? I have 2 bags of salt. Bought a whole bunch of salt. There's an anniversary sale at Ocean Life Aquarium, so it's a local shop here. You can also shop online. They sell some nice corals online. I wish I was sponsored by them, but I'm not. So in preparation for this 120 move, I made a whole bunch of water. I had, you know, bowl storage tanks filled. I only ended up using, you know, the 50 gallons. I filled this up a little bit more so I could have circulation going through here. But everything went to plan. You know, this system's awesome. I'm going to do a detailed breakdown of this system and how it actually works in the future. I didn't film anything today just because it's too much. It's too hard to film that stuff and have to worry about, you know, the tank and everything. I mean, I guess I could have just let it play, but that doesn't make for a very good video. But you know, we'll talk about this, and I'll let you guys know, you know, how I set it up and what you would need if you wanted to do something similar. Yesterday as well, I also got these Fido tanks from Poseidon. What was it? Poseidon Reef, I think. And I saw the video from Tristan's, and then I also saw one from Daily Reefing as well. When I saw his, I already had mine on the way. I got these yesterday, set them up. It's really easy, and I mean, we'll wait to see what happens once everything starts growing. This is the Fido in here. This is the copepods. And I'm looking forward to having my own supply of pods, because, you know, things get kind of expensive, and who knows, at one point I might be able to, you know, start supplying these, you know, for people locally for pretty cheap, because, you know, it doesn't cost me anything but a few minutes of my time to set this stuff up. So if I can help people out for cheap instead of having to pay, you know, $20 and for, you know, some pods you could barely even see, then that's a good thing. Anyways, I also got some stuff from Bulk Resupply for their Black Friday sale. Saved myself about $150 worth of gear. I got the Varios 8 pump, and that was only about 300 bucks. Normally about $375, so $75 right there was off. Then I got the Gyre, that was also on sale. I got some plumbing from them, some red plumbing to kind of match what we got going on in there. Then I got some Gyre extension cables, because I'm definitely going to need some extension cables. The other thing I got from Bulk Resupply is the bulbs. So my 8T5 bulbs, and this is kind of the combination that I decided to go with. So they're all Geesman bulbs, and I went with the Actinic Blue and the Super Actinic Blue. Where's that? Aqua Blue and Actinic Purple Super Actinic. So I think that's the combination I'm going with. If you have any opinion on the combination here, I'm definitely open to it, but you know, we'll see how that works out. And I got my SB reef bars. So once everything's here, I could pretty much set that stuff up immediately, and you know, if I really want to, I could fill up the tank with, you know, about 50 gallons of salt water as well immediately. Need to make a couple more orders. Things that I'm missing right now so I can get the tank totally up and running would be the sand. So I'm going with the Tropic Eden sand. Apparently Premium Aquatics is the only place that sells it, so I have to go through them. I need the rest of the plumbing supplies. No, I think that's it. I don't think I need anything else. Anyways, guys, my mind is all over the place, so I'm sure I'm missing some updates. If you have any questions, drop me a comment and I'll get to questions in the next video. Video should start picking up soon as we get some stuff coming in. I'll try to film everything that I'm doing once I get everything in for the new build. These are just kind of generic updates, and I know I moved this one, but I didn't want to film it because it just wasn't worth it, I don't think. So I'm going to get back to power washing that rock. Very fun. I'll maybe get to, you know, doing some rough aquascaping, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.